Mega Mike the Movie Man, and today I have a mega movie plan. Today I'm back with another mega review for you all. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new movie X. Yes, I'm going to go over my review of this movie. No spoilers here, so completely spoiler free. I'm just going to give you my general thoughts of the good, the bad, and my recommendation on whether you should go out and see this one or not. So stick around to the end of the video for that recommendation. But without further ado, let's get started.
Nobody else out there like you.
You know why?
Why? Because you got that X Factor.
Now to get into the good of the movie. So X is an A24 movie that was just released in theaters, created by Ty West. And so it's a movie about a crew that goes to a rural property in Texas to create an adult film, but then of course things go a little haywire and it becomes a full-on slasher movie. And so what's great about this movie is it takes me back to the classics 80s slasher genre, and to me that was just a lot of fun for this movie to do. Of course there's definitely some slasher tropes in here, but that's what makes this movie so fun. And this movie just gets kind of elevated. It's more of an elevated horror film where they really give attention and detail to how they put together this movie. The score, soundtrack, sound design is perfect in this movie, adds to a really great creepy atmosphere throughout the film, and then just how this movie is shot. It just gives you that old classic vibe, and there's also some really good shot angles in the movie, like with the scene that's overlooking a lake. It gets very intense and your eyes are just glued to the screen. When it shows up in the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's just how they filmed this movie overall, with certain things they placed in the background just adds to the overall suspense of the movie. And the actors do a great job in this movie. They make you care about the characters, and that's very rare for a horror movie to do, because a lot of times you don't really care about all the characters in a horror movie, but in this movie a lot of the characters are very likable because it does the groundwork to give us some background story, gives us some good discussion and dialogue, makes them a little bit more of intelligent characters, and so you're like, okay, I can see where that character is coming from. And basically it's just more interesting, so you care about these characters, so when the slashing does start to happen you're more invested on, okay, what characters are gonna make it out of this one. So I think that's all put together really well. So the first half to me is an excellent setup, and then you get into the second half, the slashing part, and I think there's some very creative kills in here, some things that will shock and you'll just gas at, and that are a little bit interesting that I haven't seen done before personally. I'm sure they have, but to me it was a little bit more fresher to me, and it was just very entertaining in how they go about it. And so to me, overall, when I think of, hey, what makes a movie a solid movie, especially in the horror genre, I look at all these components and I'm like, yes, this movie has that, this movie has that, this movie has that. And the most important part is I was entertained. My eyes were glued to the screen. I wanted to know what happened next, and I was enjoying myself the whole time. This movie even incorporates some humor into it, which is a little bit more rare for a horror movie, but I found sometimes I was laughing out loud, and then when it gets to the horror elements, I'm just shocked and gasping. I'm like, what just happened? And so to me, this is just a really solid, well put together, entertaining movie.
Story can't just change midway through.
Now to get into the bad of the movie. Even though this movie was called X, it could have definitely been called Uncomfortable the Movie. Wow. There was moments in this movie I'm like, what am I watching right now? I'm not going to be able to take out these images that are burnt into my skull right now, because yeah, it gets gross in a lot of scenes. And I'm like talking like when you think, hey, I've seen it all before. No, you have not. You have not seen it all before, but after this movie, maybe you will have. So definitely some disturbing imagery in this movie. I have to warn you of that. Definitely a very adult film. Yeah, definitely. I'm telling you, this is something else here. And so yes, a lot of gross out moments that a lot of people are going to be very uncomfortable with. You might get a little squeamish. And I'm not just talking about the horror stuff, but let's mention the horror stuff too. Yes, it does get very gory and bloody. And to me, it can kind of be over the top sometimes. like it kind of goes on some slashing sequences just a little bit too long, where I'm like, okay, I get it, let's move on now. But it feels like it's just like, oh no, we want to get a lot of gore and blood out of it, so let's continue it. So there's a couple sequences like that. And yeah, it's just wow, this movie is out there, and you kind of expect that going into an A24 film, but even for an A24 film, it does take it up a few levels on that. So I just want to caution people of that. And then also, this is a slower burn movie because I'm telling you, it takes it back to that 80s classic slasher movie genre, kind of where Halloween, think about that, how that's a very slow burn at the beginning of the movie. And this movie does the same thing. I'm telling you, the first half of the movie, you got to be very patient with. You're not getting into the slashing elements until after that, until the second half of the movie. And once those slashing elements do happen, then it really does start to pick up, and your adrenaline will definitely get going and things like that. But just know, like, the first half of this movie is complete build up and setup, trying to set up the environment and atmosphere, get you connected to these characters. To me, that's purposefully done. I think it's done effective because then you care about the characters, but just know it does take a while to get into the slashing elements. So if you're just going for a straight up slasher horror movie, you gotta be just a little aware of, oh, it's not gonna get to that right away. There is a lot before that. I enjoyed that part, the setup, but I know maybe some people won't. Some people might snooze off a little bit, get bored by it. So just wanted to warn you all in this section. There are some things just to definitely be a little bit cautious about.
You don't want to leave, do you?
People's eyes are gonna pop out of their damn skulls when they see this.
Now to get into my recommendation of the movie. Now, should you go out to this movie? While this is going to be a tough recommendation for me, I love the movie, but I know a lot of people won't. To me, this is maybe my favorite movie of the year. Honestly, I really like this movie, but I'm a big fan of the horror genre. That's my second favorite genre, right behind superhero movies. So to me, this does everything a horror movie should. But who am I going to recommend this one to? Definitely, I can only recommend this one to horror fans, of course, and even at that, some horror fans may not like this movie. It's really specific to the horror slasher subgenre, especially if you like the classic slasher movies. If you like the classic style of slasher movies, then I think you're really going to get a kick out of this one. I think you're really going to enjoy this movie because I'm telling you, as a fan of the slasher subgenre, to me, I think this movie is probably my favorite movie of the year so far. I like this movie better than The Outfit, which I like better than The Batman. So I would kind of have to compare this movie to Scream because I really did like Scream. But we've seen Scream before. We've seen Ghostface before. X is completely a new movie and can be a whole new franchise. So because of the new creativity to it, I might have to give the edge to this movie. So definitely, I'll have to rewatch it again. I'll have to rewatch Scream again, compare the two together a little bit more closely. But I'm telling you, this might be my favorite movie of the year so far, just in terms of entertainment value. And that's how I judge movies. Is the movie keeping me interested? Is the movie keeping me entertained? Is the movie keeping my eyes glued to the screen? Well, X definitely accomplishes that. So I thoroughly enjoy this movie. But once again, caution, this is not a movie for everyone. Just because I love the movie doesn't mean you will. So honestly, I'd probably not recommend this movie to 90% of people out there. Like I said, it's a very adult film. It gets very gross at times. So yeah, not a movie for everyone. I would only go see this one if you're a fan of the classic slasher subgenre. That specifically. If you're into that, you're going to have a good time with this one, and I can't wait to have some movie discussions on this because to me, I can highly recommend it to those people, just not everyone.
One of the boys found this inside.
What do you think is on it?
I see one.
So that will do it for the new movie X. Also have to mention there is an awesome post-credit scene after all the credits roll that you should definitely stick around for to see, because to me this is one of the best post-credit scenes I have seen in a movie, especially for a horror movie. Definitely gets you excited for what's going to happen next. So definitely stay through the credits for that scene. Also, if you have already seen this movie, let me know in the comments below. What did you think of this movie? I would love to have some movie discussions on this one just because I enjoyed the movie so much. Even if you didn't enjoy the movie, I completely get it. Let's have that discussion down below. Or if you haven't seen it yet, but now it's kind of piqued your interest and you're planning to go see it, let me know that as well. Also, if you're just discovering the channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe right now. I'm going to get you tons of movie reviews of all the new releases, movie rankings, movie news, movie hauls, unboxings, you name it. We'll talk everything movies on this channel. I don't want you to miss out on any of that entertainment value. So subscribe right now, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss when I post a video.
Come on. Do it. Do it! Come on. Come on.
Also, like the video, and this is Mega Mike the Movie Man, minding you to make every day a movie day.